Hello, this is Rob from VividCharts, and in this video I'm going to walk you through an actual example of how we use the VividCharts product to avoid a problem that we hear about all the time. The problem is manual slide deck prep. The feature that I'm going to show was actually developed specifically for a skilled ServiceNow resource who is spending 3 to 4 days every single month for an operational review, developing the same metrics and charts in Excel to show in a PowerPoint presentation to the rest of his team. You're going to see a VividCharts narrative collecting and visualizing data on the fly, but it's going to be an actual relevant use case that we use here at VividCharts. So what we're in here is the self-exploration portal that you've already registered for. This is actually a ServiceNow service portal. So what that means is every time a user registered within the portal, that information is logged in a ServiceNow table. What that allows us to do, and the value of processes living in ServiceNow, is you can start to use that data to better understand your own processes and your own performance. So the goal of this portal in general is to provide a better avenue for people to explore VividCharts examples at their own pace without having to actually engage with a live sales conversation, because obviously, people want to understand what's out there regardless if they have a pressing need. So this is a good way for people to explore that on their own and talk whenever they're ready to talk with us. So as that data gets funneled into ServiceNow, we can start to use it in some pretty unique ways. So within the UI here, I'm going to navigate to the Narratives tab, and actually already have a narrative built out that I'm just going to talk through with you guys here. So I've got a couple of slides here. The first one I'll click into, and we'll edit the layout here, and we're going to see some data points come up right away. So these are calculating on the fly as the data changes in ServiceNow. And what you're going to see here is some operational context that kind of correlates with what's going on with the visualization here. So this is looking at the total number of registrants that are actually in the self-exploration portal today and what that looks like on a week-by-week basis. So you can see here the data shows 8 registrants for this week, 4 for this week, and 17 for this week. So that's a little bit off balance. So what my job is to communicate to the team is, why did we see such a massive uptick on that week of June 10th? So what we can do in the slate here is start to add some bullet points that layer into the presentation my operational level context. So I want to share with the team, this is when we went live with the actual portal. So this first week, we just started sharing it with active conversations with prospects to register and start to share live examples with their own teams to help facilitate their internal conversations. So we saw a decent number of registrants that week, a few more the following week. And what happened here is we actually shared publicly on LinkedIn that the portal was available to be registered in. And so we shared it on June 5th, which I put in my bullet point here. And you're going to see that was a Friday, and the following week is when we saw that big jump. So what that's telling my team is, when we do promote this to the community that we're trying to reach and engage with, we do see an uptick in the number of registrants. And then we also understand that what we're providing is interesting, and it validates that this is a good tool for people to explore on their own. So we saw an uptick there through this sharing on LinkedIn, and then it kind of normalized after that. So that's the first slide, and just kind of demonstrates how you can use the VividCharts slate here to, one, avoid the manual data prep that comes with these metrics, because this is what we care about and what we want to track on a monthly basis. But 2, the value of adding this operational level context that shows, okay, this is when we went live, this is when we shared on LinkedIn, and this is what happened to the data. This is what the data shows based on those events. So in looking at the next slide here, you're just going to see a few more examples These ones we actually, they're pretty self-explanatory, so we don't need to call out much here. But what you can see is we can start to layer in and better understand the data and visualize it and communicate it in different ways here. So we can look at the breakdown of, are we reaching who we want to reach? Obviously, we serve ServiceNow customers to help them visualize and present their data. So that's the group that we care about most. So that's a good, healthy percentage. We're reaching that audience. We're going to show that with a parameter to show in green if we're above that threshold. Same with professional consultants that are implementing for ServiceNow customers. We want them to understand where we fit in the landscape. And then finally, we want to start to understand, okay, who shows the most interest in the portal and in the technology, and how do we help to better serve those? So you can see it's a pretty wide range of ServiceNow customer by industry that's registering in here. But if we start to see one of these percentages grow, maybe that's a sign, as a team, we should start looking at solutions that cater more to that industry. So now that I have my slide deck prepped and ready, I can jump back into the UI here and actually go to present when the monthly review comes around, and just click through. You can see all my data is live here. I can talk through and present and take my team through the sequence of events, what the data is showing, and have a larger conversation more centered around, okay, this is the context and what the data is doing on a monthly basis. What are some strategies we can take to skew that data in a direction that we would like to see and that aligns with our goals? So just a good example of, one, how to eliminate that nasty data prep and the manual PowerPoint slide deck prep for your monthly operational reviews, and two, an actual use case that we use here internally to not only track and have visibility into data, but to provide operational level context behind the data and the value of being able to do that within the same window. So thank you so much. Please leave some feedback. We appreciate you watching. Thank you.